This is Romo Dunze, and you're listening to the Ballsville podcast.
Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it.
I am your host, Scott Fitzgerald, aka Ludes for Sale on Sleeper. And this episode is brought to you by the Ballsvillegame.com. Our games combine fantasy football and poker, which create big payouts with great odds. Yes, for the second week in a row, I am wearing a knitted hat because it is officially winter here in Michigan. And in 2 weeks, I will be off to Florida for the next 4 months and enjoying some very nice weather and getting out of this crap old cold weather. We are a two-man show today. My co-host, Bills Mafia, the best team in the AFC. Have I said it? The best team in the AFC, the Buffalo Bills. He is Clem. What is up, Sean?
What's up, buddy? Thank you for all the hype around my team. I love it.
Yeah, I think they've proved that they leapfrogged the Kansas City Chiefs, the defending champions. But until you knock the Chiefs off, they're still the defending champs.
Right.
So,
and until we win in January, that's when I'll get excited.
I think you got to get home field.
Yeah. I mean, we had it last year. It didn't really make a difference, right?
But you know what? You always want to have home field, though. You never want to go on the road. So yeah, it's like I said, it's winter here in Michigan, and it was winter in Ohio, and we watched a very snowy game last night. I thought it was going to be a Debbie Downer and be like one of those 10-3 games or 9-6 or some crazy game like that, but it actually was pretty exciting. So before we get into some ins and outs and news and notes, we'll talk a little bit about the game last night. So, Sean, what did you think about that game last night? What did you think about the Brownies knocking off the Steelers?
Well, I mean, I was obviously happy to see a AFC team that was up there in the top of the standings along with the Bills get a loss on their record. That's always nice, you know. Beyond that, though, I definitely think that it kind of showed exactly what the problem with the Steelers is. They can't get the ball in the end zone. You know, I mean, they've had the best kicker in fantasy for a reason this year. The guy is constantly being the only one scoring them points in the game. And, you know, I think that they went, you know, a certain amount of quarters without without missing a score. They've scored every quarter for like so many quarters or something they were saying during the game. And then you think about it, how many of that there's been field goals. So many. Like they just cannot punch the ball in the end zone. You know, especially having guys like George Pickens and Mike Williams, their specialty is supposed to come down with those 50-50 balls. I don't understand why they can't get it in the end zone. It's just shocking. You know,
yeah.
But it's to see a loss.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I know it's a cliche, but and all coaches say it, you know, we can't win games kicking field goals all the time, which is, you know, true. You got to punch it in for 6. And, you know, I mean, yeah, the weather, both teams got to play in the cold weather. And I mean, the Brownies got to.
The Steelers tried. It wasn't for lack of effort. They got stuffed on multiple 4th down efforts. And, you know, it wasn't like they tried to make sure they got in the end zone. They just could not do it.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the stat lines, I mean, Russell Wilson was 21 of 28, 270 and a score. So, I mean, it wasn't that bad. He did throw that touchdown to Calvin Austin, which was pretty nice. I wish it would have went to Pickens.
I mean, that was an amazing catch, but
yeah, great catch. So, I mean, but I think it just comes down to, you know, I thought it'd be a little bit lower scoring, but I just think all these AFC, central matchups are always going to be tight. You know, somewhat low scoring. These teams all hate each other. They know each other. So, they're good games. They're good battling games. And the snow element, you know, probably slowed things down a little bit. But it didn't slow things down for one Nicholas Chubb. Nicholas Chubb had 20 carries for 59 yards. So there's only three yards of carry and 2 touchdowns, but what you liked was the 20 carries off the devastating knee injury. Yeah. I love Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb's like one of my favorite players. I love guys that pursuit from, come back from injury, and don't quit. And his injury record goes all the way back to when he was at Georgia, where he had the devastating knee injury. So big Nick Chubb fan. I don't think I'd be investing into him, and obviously in Dynasty going forward. But I mean, if you got him for redraft and you've held on to him for this long, I mean, I'm not going to say he's a league winner or anything like that, but I mean, he's a guy you can stick in your in your RB2 slot, Sean.
I mean, yeah, if you need to, absolutely. If you're somebody who, like yourself, drafts wide receivers and forgets about the running back position for the first 10 rounds, then yeah, absolutely, he could be your RB2. I mean, he's more of a flex RB for teams like mine, but I still like him as a depth piece. And, I just made a trade where I had him on a team that was basically floundering, and I decided that it was time for a rebuild. So I traded him away, and I ended up sending him and I'm sorry, I sent him and Scott, remind me, we talked about this. Why am I blanking on the other?
Oh, was that the AJ Brown trade?
Yes, thank you, AJ Brown, because I feel like he's slightly, getting to that point where he's going to start turning a corner in his style of play. So I'm like, I don't mind giving away a good piece like that. And Nick Chubb was the deciding factor in that. And then it turned around. He scored him 2 touchdowns this week, and he's a contending team trying to make a run. So, it worked out for both teams, in my opinion.
Right. Welcome in, Zoobs. I see Zoobs is in the chat. I know I got some questions yesterday in the Discord. I know Zoobs was one. I think he was debating between Jerry Jeudy and Zach Ertz. I didn't like the weather going in there. I thought it was going to be one of them field goal fests. So I did say to play Zach Ertz instead of Jerry Jeudy. And Jerry's still out. I mean, Jeudy had 6 catches for 85 yards, so on 6 targets. He looks like he is the true number 1 going forward. Cedric Tillman did have a concussion, and he was only targeted. He was targeted 4 times, but he did get banged up.
He had a weird game because his second target, he had a really nice catch and then ended up fumbling it. And so he was kind of slightly doghoused for that. And then instantly the next catch that he got, which was quite a bit later in the game, he breaks a tackle, ends up looking like he's going to steal a first down, and then gets smashed and comes out. So it's just kind of one of those oddball games for him. I think they intended on having him be more of the game plan. It just didn't work out that way.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, if Zach Ertz gets in the box, I mean, it's pretty good. I mean, I still see Zach Ertz. The matchup's good this week. I could still see Zach Ertz getting 4 or 5 receptions, so it's not all that bad. What's up? El Presidente is in the chat. He says Ford could have some value next year. I still think he has some value this year. I don't think it's totally killed. I mean, the game was really close, so they just they ran Nick Chubb. I think if the game got out of hand, and they were playing catch up, I think that's where Ford would come in.
So you said Zach Ertz, Scott. Did you mean David Njoku?
Pardon me?
You said Zach Ertz. Did you mean David Njoku?
No. The question was, should he start?
I don't see it. Oh, I missed the question. I'm sorry.
No. This was in Discord yesterday.
Oh.
It was put out to me, so I was like, no, I think I would go with Ertz. So just because of the weather. If it wasn't for the weather, I would go with Jeudy. But they did say it was going to be windy, and wind is a problem when you pass. So I was just like, you know what? And usually those Thursday night games are just junk, especially, these 2 teams that are, always seem to play low scoring games. So I said, you know what? I would just go with Ertz, but I don't think it'll kill you. Like I said, I'm pretty sure Ertz will get 3-4 receptions and maybe he'll get in the box. But I
think it's going to be a good game.
So other than that, Jaylen Warren looked like he got the majority of the carries. I mean, it looked like, it looked like Harris was stuffed a lot and just didn't look right. Jaylen Warren's been hurt all year. I always said he was the better back. I think he just needed to be healthy. So, Sean, going forward next year, Jameis Winston, I could see possibly like a Geno Smith career going forward if they decide to move on, obviously, from Deshaun Watson. They're not going to cut him. He'll be on the roster next year because of his contract, but I mean, if they don't draft another quarterback in the draft, I mean, I feel they're going to go with Jameis Winston moving forward. What do you think?
Is he under contract for next year? Did they signed him for 2
I
years?
don't think he is. I think he will get a pay bump. I just don't know if it's. I don't think it's going to. Now, if he can get him to 500, I'm not saying he's going to get some Geno Smith contract, but he's going to get a nice little bump. And
it's not going to come from Cleveland because they got too much money in that position already. So Giants?
No, Giants are going to draft a quarterback. They're tank mode.
They won't take a guy like him to be their backup or their bridge.
I think Cleveland already learned their lesson, but when they gave away Joe Flacco, so I can't see them releasing Jameis Winston.
But would they really be able to spend more money on a quarterback right now, especially a guy that is not the franchise? Like that would be so disheartening as a fan.
You're going to do the same thing at grabbing somebody off the street. I mean, if you go grab Daniel Jones, who we'll talk about later.
I mean, I'm in the sell the farm to trade up for a quarterback. Like if I'm them at this point, that's the only way you're going to be able to afford a quarterback that actually gives you a future.
I mean, I think that Jameis Winston, even if he has a pretty decent year the rest of the year, I don't think he's going to be demanding a whole lot of money. He could try. It's not like he's a young quarterback or anything like that. I mean, I don't remember Flacco's contract that he went to, the one he got with Indy, but, I mean, it's not going to be some crazy contract, but we'll have to see how Jameis does. If Jameis, disappears the rest of the year, and this team just continues to lose, they could end up being in a position to draft a quarterback. If not, and he gets them to 500, they're going to have to give him a pretty decent pay bump. So, I mean, these teams in the NFL are just starving for quarterbacks, and we'll see what happens going forward. So, all right, we'll get into
So before you move on real quick, I'm really curious on your answer to this question. Who's going to win that division?
Well, I said in the beginning of the year, I like the Steelers. I said that I had that on a pod. If you go back, I can't remember which pod. I said, watch out for the Steelers. They're going to be sneaky. If they don't win the division, I think they'll make the playoffs as one of the seeded teams.
Okay, so here's my pushback on that. All right, I'm going to read you the rest of their schedule right now. They play Cincinnati, Cleveland, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Kansas City, and Cincy again.
I think they win they beat the Browns next time. I think they beat Cincinnati both times. Cincinnati.
They win both in Cincy, even though they play each other tough. You do.
I think they beat them both. I think Pittsburgh's the better team. They got a better defense. They can run the ball. If you can run the ball and play good defense, you can win. In Cincinnati, they have no running game, and they do have Chase Brown. But
so do they beat Baltimore, Philly, or KC at all? Because that puts them at 3-3 the rest of the way.
They don't beat Philadelphia. They don't beat Kansas City. Baltimore's up in the air. That's another game that they hate each other. If they can, if Pittsburgh can throw the ball, that's how you can beat Baltimore. And then if they can get to Lamar with TJ Watt, like what happened yesterday, the Browns did a tremendous job on TJ Watt. I mean, he was like not involved in that game. It was all Myles Garrett, no TJ Watt. So if the Ravens look at this game plan and see how the Browns stop TJ Watt from getting to Winston, then I think Baltimore will win that game. So if you're asking me how this is going to happen, I think they go 3-3 the rest of the way. And it all depends what Baltimore does, So
yeah,
what's up,
let me look up real quick and see if I can snag Baltimore's their schedule real quick just to see what they're looking like. So the rest of their schedule is as follows. They are playing Chargers this week, Philly, and then they're on a bye, and then they got the Giants, the Pittsburgh game, Houston, and Cleveland to finish the season. So, I mean, out of that schedule right there, I see 1, 2, maybe 3 losses potentially if they can play, good football.
I think the Ravens will win that division, but it's going to be close. Like I said, it could come down to the last week. This one hurt for the Steelers' chances, losing to the Browns. So, yeah, I think it's going to be somewhat close. I think the Ravens will take the division, but like I said, it might come down to the last week.
Yeah.
What about what do you think? What do you think?
I mean, I think it's going to be the Ravens. I think that the Steelers. Yeah, I don't think they're going to beat Cincinnati both games. I think they lose one of those games, and then I do believe that they lose those other 3 games. So I think they might end up going to 2-4 and kind of falling down to the middle of the pack by the end of the season. So I think the Ravens end up taking that division, like maybe by a game or 2. I still at the door, so give me just 1 second. I'll have to come back now.
Go ahead.
Hear your reply to that.
No, you go ahead. Oh wow, he cut me totally out. So yeah. So like I said, I still think the Steelers have a chance to win the division. Possibly have a chance to. I still think they're going to make the playoffs. So, what's up, JoJo? JoJo's in the house. What's up, JoJo? What's up, Cheeky? Sean ran, checked the door for a little bit. We were just getting into the last night's game. No, good. I was just going to ask you, Sean. You still think do you think the Steelers are a playoff team?
The Steelers, I think that they're close to it. I mean, it's going to be tough if they can't pull out at least an extra game and get that 3-3 record like you're talking about. Man, they're in that wild card spot, and the way the AFC's shaping up, I really don't think that any of these teams are in the hunt. Are going to really come into play too much. I think that their biggest foe is Denver. I think we're going to have to see Denver if they can keep up with what they're doing. I think Steelers have a potential of missing the playoffs.
I want to talk to JoJo real quick. JoJo, we're doing trades today. You want to hop in here? We need a third person to break down trades. If you can hear me, if you want to hop in here, third person, we get into trades. There's some good trades this week, a lot in high stakes, and I want to get your opinion on some of these trades. So if you want to hop on during the trade segment, just come on in. What's up, Fran? Nice to see Fran in. He's driving. Okay, well, maybe later on if you get home or whatever, if you want to pop in, but it's no big deal. Okay, let's get into some.
We didn't want to anyway, Joe. Just kidding. I'm just teasing him.
He says I'm driving while he texts he texts in the chat. So, anyways, all right. So we got some big news today. This killed me because I had a lot of teams with both these guys in the lineup, and I had to run through there and change stuff. So Brock Purdy's out with a shoulder injury. So we got Brendan Allen. That's going to be the starter. Good luck with that. And also Devontae Smith's out. So get those guys out of your lineup. That kind of hurts. That hurts me in a few leagues. A few of my good teams. And then also we had Daniel Jones who was released. So he's going to clear waivers, and I don't know if anyone's going to pick him up because whoever picks him up is going to have to cover that $13 million contract for the year. So I don't know. Good luck with that.
He's going to clear waivers and sign with a team like Buffalo or something as their backup.
Are you going to pay him $13 million?
No. He's going to clear waivers, and then he's going to sign for vet min.
I don't know. We'll see about that. So
he's done for the year. He'll wait till next year. He'll get an opportunity somewhere. I'm just joking.
Yeah, he'll get another opportunity. He'll just be with somebody else. Don't do what I'm doing, kids. That's what JoJo writes. Yeah, no texting and driving. Hands free only. So So I guess we have the Tommy DeVito experience,
right?
Is that what we're looking at with the Giants? I mean, good luck. Malik Neighbors. I guess maybe a lot of Tyrone Tracy. That should raise the Tyrone Tracy shares, right?
I mean, I would think so. I mean, at this point, it's pretty obvious what they're doing in New York. They're basically just tanking for their quarterback. So, yeah, they're going to put in the Tommy kid. They're going to see what he can do. I think Drew Lock is pretty irritated about the whole situation. I wouldn't be surprised if he's not gone too. That whole situation right now, that quarterback room is just a tire fire. So what else are they going to do but put in the kid who's just happy to be there,
No, and it's funny too because if you did watch the Hard Knocks, over the the off season when they lost Saquon, and then they're like, okay, we're bringing in a quarterback, Drew Lock, and they paid him $5 million, and they basically told him, yeah, you're going to be our next man up, and then they basically just like stuck a banana in his rear end and said, no, we're gonna put the Tommy DeVito experience back in.
Like tape a
But
banana to his wall.
yeah, but you know what? Hey, if you want to pay me $5 million to just sit there and hold a clipboard,
Right.
I'd be the first to raise my hand.
What's the deal with these quarterbacks like bitching out because they get benched and deciding that they want to leave the team? Like this is the second time that's happened, that a quarterback has gotten benched in the middle of the season and then they said that they wanted to leave the team. Derek Carr did the same thing in Oakland, or well, I guess you could say in Las Vegas by then, but like he did the same thing, when he left. Oh man, I don't want to be a distraction for the team. Like it's come on, man up, just stay there and support your teammates, play the rest of your season out, move on after that. But don't go in there and like cry and whine and request a release. Like that's just come on.
Hey, well, you know what? Everyone says wide receivers are the divas of the NFL. I mean, I really think it's the quarterbacks that are the divas.
You know what it reminded me of? Like hearing that he went in there and did all that. It reminded me of that scene in Mr. Deeds when that dude comes like barging into the office all pissed off and wanting his contract, and Mr. Deeds ends up laying him out because he was cussing in front of the ladies. It's like it just felt like it was kind of like that type of scenario. He just came in all pissed off. Like, well, if you want to go, then here's your papers.
Yeah, no, it's just crazy. I don't know. But yeah, so other than that, not really a whole lot other than that kind of stuff.
Look at Zeus. Zeus is like, screw that. Team's dysfunctional. Who's gonna let Danny cook right now, Zeus? I mean, honestly, bro, name a fan base that wants them to sign Danny Dimes right now.
Maybe
I'd be surprised.
Yeah, no doubt. I don't know. Would you rather have Aaron Rodgers or Danny Dimes?
Right now, I mean, as much as I hate Aaron Rodgers, if I'm a fan of that team and I want to see good football, I want to see Aaron Rodgers over Danny Dimes.
Look at Zubikis, the Cowboys. There's no way Jerry Jones is bringing him in.
Right? How funny would that be, though, right? He goes to the Cowboys and ends up like torching the Giants.
Oh, my God. Yeah, it's crazy. But no, we understand why the Giants did it. The clause with the injury and stuff like that. So
yeah, I mean, I understand not playing him, but I mean, it's to me the whole like wanting to get your release, because I think that's just kind of a baby move, man. I mean, you're making a ton of money. Just sit on the sidelines. Basically, you get like a 6-week vacation, man. Like,
yeah,
scout some other teams, talk to your agent, like look at places to live and potential places that you're going to be moving to. Like, you got plenty of time to set everything up. There's no reason for you to just be like, well, one out now.
You know what? I'm kind of with him. I'd rather just get released, and then maybe a team will pick me up as a backup, like a good team, like the Chiefs or something, or Bills, and then I can just maybe win a ring, because he's not going to win a ring as a starting quarterback. So maybe
if he clears waivers, he's basically free agent status, right? So he can do whatever he wants. He's not required to sign with whoever offers him a deal.
Yeah, no, crazy. But no, this episode we're going to. Because last week, when Alex and Sean were doing all the game recaps for the leagues, they didn't have enough time to get into the trades. So we have quite a few trades today to talk about. So this is going to be a start-sit podcast. So get your start-sit questions in, and full episode of what, Sean?
The Trade Talks!
Trade Talks. Full episode. We have 20 trades lined up, and we have some start sits, so write those in. So let's go right to it, Sean, and get to the first trade.
We had so many of them, we did not have time to put them all on slides, so we're doing it via Discord. So this is legit coming from the horse's mouth right out of our Discord thread. So if there's any rando comments that you guys threw in here, we're going to see them. So this is our first trade here. This one took place on the 13th of November, and it is in Scott, if you can Larith. There it is, Larith League, which I believe is one of our dynasties. And you're looking at Bucky Irvin, Derek Carr, and DeAndre Swift to Freeman C2447 in exchange with JMC 27 for DeAndre Hopkins, Sam Darnold, and Nick Chubb.
And this dynasty?
Yes, it's a Lareth league, which
okay, the Lareth league. Okay, so wow, getting Hopkins and Chubb, but then he gets Darnold. Oh yeah, I you know what? As much as I want to throw up. I think Darnold is going to be an expiring asset with McCarthy, and if this is dynasty, you got Hopkins, on a 1 year because of Rice, and Nick Chubb's kind of getting up there. I'm not a big Swift guy. I'm not a big Carr guy, but I kind of like Bucky Irving a little bit. I mean, I guess I'll lean the Bucky Irving side. I mean, I guess if you're in win now, you want the Darnold side, and I'm assuming that's what JMC is. So if he's competing for a championship, I like his side. But if you gave away all those assets, I was hoping to get something a little more than just Bucky Irving, Derek Carr, and DeAndre Swift. Wouldn't you rather just have draft picks for Hopkins and Chubb, Sean?
Yeah, exactly. And so this is one of those scenarios where I do think it's a fair trade. If I look at the trade just outright as a trade, especially being like you talked about, JMC maybe doing a playoff run, Freeman wanting to get some young assets. I do have a little bit more down the road potential with Darnold, maybe getting that, Geno Smith type of situation, kind of like we just talked about. So, I'm not 100% hating on Carr as far as future asset is concerned, but I'm with you on the fact that I almost would rather break apart my assets, and I think I could get more value individually, or at least doing just a 2-player deal and then sending Hopkins off for a pick or something like that instead of a 3-player deal, because you're giving away a lot of your valuable assets that you could use for, future picks and things like that all in one swoop. So yeah, I'm with you, but I do think it's an even trade. I don't think the trade is far off at all.
Okay, yeah, I guess I could see that, but I probably just lean a little bit towards the Hopkins side, just if he wants to win. If he's in win now, that's he didn't really give up a whole lot to get those pieces.
Yeah, no, I agree. Because the only Swift I don't consider to be much of a long-term value either. So Bucky is really your only depth value there as far as young concerned. So I think you're getting a good solid young back for some pieces that I think Hopkins is after this year. I think he's probably done, and Chubb, we might get one more season out of him because he wants to just kind of show that he's still capable. But I don't think we're going to get that much more than one season out of Chubb. So.
Okay, let's move on.
All right. Next one up. This one was posted by you. So if you got any insight on the league that this was in, this is definitely, it's a Superflex PPR. So I'm assuming this is 12 teams. So is this one of our dynasties?
No, this is redraft. Let me get to it on my Discord. 1 second.
So while he's doing that, guys, I'll read off what we got here. We got Pablo One Escobar making a deal with Mr. Ben doing this. You'll probably hear that name quite a bit. Pablo Escobar gets Tajay Spears and Ricky Pearsall, and he sends to Mr. Ben doing this Cooper Rush.
Okay, yeah. So I got it now. So this was, what did I write in there? Did I write anything? What league?
High 3. So it is the high 3 league.
Okay, so it's high 3.
Draft.
That's Gambit. So, yeah, so I don't. So Mr. Ben, I guess, is looking for a quarterback. Picks up Cooper Rush. I don't think he really gave up a whole lot. Tajay Spears, Ricky Pearsall. To get a starting quarterback, I think that's like peanuts. So I like the Cooper Rush side. Pablo probably just picked up Cooper Rush on waivers 1 week, and probably, his quarterback room is probably good enough where he's never going to play him. Maybe ran into some buy issues or something, maybe looking for some upside in Pearsall, but yeah, it is boring, but I'll always take the quarterback side.
Yeah. It's definitely kind of one of those ho-hum trades, but I mean, Cooper Rush is playing so bad right now. Who's to say he's going to stay the starting quarterback at this point? I mean, Trey Lance should get an opportunity if Rush doesn't play better. So we'll see how that plays out. But I don't think Pearsall, other than that one game, which was almost like one play really, and Spears is hurt again. It's concussion this time, but it sounds like he's not going to play this week. So, you're getting to that crunch time where I wouldn't have. I mean, I would have wanted to get something a little bit more useful than Tajay Spears and Ricky Pearsall.
Got you. All right, let's move on.
Next one we got on the docket. This one actually took place a few days earlier. This was on the 10th. This is Jerry B83 trading with Ethan Blinka 10. He got DK Metcalf and Michael Pittman for Jonathan Taylor in a 2025 second.
Okay. I kind of like this deal for both parties, to be honest with you.
I don't hate it either.
I like Michael Pittman as a second. I think that's right in his wheelhouse. So I think that's pretty fair value. And then I think DK Metcalf and Jonathan Taylor, as far as dynasty, are, right on the same line. You're going to get a lot more years out of DK than you'll get out of Jonathan Taylor. I'm assuming that Jerry was probably pretty loaded at running back, and wanted to ship him off, and got in. I mean, Michael Pittman, he's buying him on the low, so I don't think giving a second away is too bad. So I kind of like it. I like it for both teams. I actually like it a little bit more on the Jerry side. What about you?
Yeah, I agree because I don't think that Michael Pittman is long for Indy, and I think in a better scenario, Michael Pittman is still going to be a really useful tool. So I definitely think that down the road, I like the Jerry B side, and then even in this season, he's not given away that many points this year, losing DK to get Taylor, right? So or vice versa. I'm sorry. So I definitely agree with you. I think that it's pretty even, and I think this is the type of trade that I'm happy to see. Congratulations, guys. I think they did a good job here.
All right, next.
All right. Next one on the list. This is Nick Chubb. Oh, I'm sorry. K Doggity Dog and E Bailey made a trade. K Doggy Dog got Nick Chubb and Zay Flowers in exchange for Jawan Jennings and Chuba Hubbard.
Okay. I like this trade. Another trade that I kind of like. Everyone knows I love Jawan Jennings. I love, him this year. I still love him going into
redraft also.
Redraft. Is this redraft?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So, all right. So redraft. I still like Jennings going forward. Hubbard, I think, will lose a little bit of value, but I don't think he's going to be totally out because they just gave him that big contract. Nick Chubb looks like he can handle the load now with 20 carries. And then you get Zay Flowers, maybe a little bit on the down. He's been okay, but not been like what we thought, I think. So I personally, as much as I love Jawan Jennings, I'm gonna go with the Nick Chubb, Zay Flowers side. I think Zay Flowers is gonna have better days, and I think Nick Chubb is already proven that he can handle the load and he's gonna get carries. The only thing I worry about is if they keep losing games, maybe they put him on the shelf. And then I'm a little concerned about Hubbard with the reemergence of I'm drawing a blank, Sean Brooks, Jonathan Brooks.
Yeah, I was with you on that. That's why I would lean towards the Chubb and Flowers side too. I feel like Chubb's on the upswing and Hubbard's on the downswing.
But I still think it's pretty close though. Like I do like Jennings a lot going forward. So I think to be honest with you, I think it's a pretty even. I just maybe give a slight bump to the Chubb side.
Yeah, I'm on agreement with you on that one, 100%.
All right, let's move on.
All right. Our next trade was a 1-for-1 straight up swap. We've got Kareem Hunt for Josh Downs. We don't know the players that made the swap, but this was in a high 4 league, so this is in a redraft.
Yeah, to me, this is a disaster. I don't know why you would trade Josh Downs for Kareem Hunt, knowing that Pacheco's coming back. Josh Downs is, to me, the number one in Indy. And You basically traded your number one receiver for a guy that's going to lose his job. At best case scenario, maybe get 30% of the workload. So I think this was a banana in the tailpipe, deal. And whoever got Josh Downs, you couldn't have asked for more trading Kareem Hunt and getting that in return.
Yeah, I would definitely be skeptical if I saw this trade go through in my league. I wouldn't like that at all. And it's definitely one of those deals that at first glance, it looks lopsided. And the more you look at it, it looks even more lopsided. So I really don't understand the whole reasoning behind it. Unless he was like, I need a running back this week or I'm out of the playoffs and this is my only opportunity. And I picked him up literally because I wanted him to play this last Sunday against Buffalo before back.
And even if, and I would have to do my homework, I didn't probably do my homework. I could have went back and say, okay, does this guy who took Hunt, does he have Pacheco? But even if he has Pacheco, are you still giving away, Josh Downs for Kareem Hunt? I'm still not doing it. So,
I think that's the only way, is if there was some sort of a dire straits scenario and it was the week before, like not this coming, but the week when they played Buffalo, you knew he was going to be the only starter and you just needed a starter. Then that was basically somebody holding your ass to the fire and saying, I know you're screwed unless you get this running back. So this is what I want.
Got you.
But I still wouldn't do
All right.
it. I would be like, you need to throw me another piece then. You need to upgrade me somewhere else. Throw in two more players and upgrade me a little bit in another position if you want to do this kind of a swap.
Yep. No, go on. Okay, yeah, that's good.
Next one is another stay ups. This is between you and Julius Poulius over here in the low league. You got J.K. Dobbins in exchange for DJ Moore.
Okay, I'll let you go for it. I'll explain.
Okay, well, I mean, first glance, it looks like you basically, I think you got the more consistent player. He might have gotten the player that potentially game to game could do better, but I think you got the more consistent, higher floor player. And depending on where your positions are, if you're in a run right now and you're trying to make a move, I think you got away with one.
Yeah. So basically, this team is a contender. I had a lot of. These are the kind of trades I like to do, and I'll let people know. If anyone listening, I don't like the you give me 4 guys, I'll give you 4 guys deal. I like the 1-for-1 deals, possibly 2-for-2, where I upgraded a position of need.
It's because he's old, everybody.
The other guy upgrades at a position that he needs. We all went out, we all shake hands, and none of this, all this fluff. I'll call those trades fluffs when there's like 4 and 5 player, swap deals. So like I said, I had a lot of receivers. I was a little light on running backs. I don't like the situation in Chicago. I thought it was going to be an ascending offense this year. It's actually a descending offense. Eberflus needs to be fired. And I like J.K. Dobbins in a running offense. They do love him there in L.A. He's another guy that I'm a big fan of, coming off, even though he went to Ohio State, coming off a couple terrible injuries to get back in the NFL and do what he does. The only thing that bothers me, and this is just Jim Harbaugh doing Jim Harbaugh things, he's got Hassan Haskins, who went to Michigan, giving him the ball on the goal line, and he does not get in. So and then what does he do? When it's third down, he gives it to J.K. Dobbins and he scores. So it's like, what are you doing? Giving it to Haskins. I know you had him at Michigan, but quit with that nonsense and go and just give the ball to Dobbins. So that's why I kind of made that deal. Was
that movie where he'd always pull the running back out in the goal line and put the other guy in to get the touchdowns? Oh man, there was Varsity Blues. It's Varsity Blues.
Varsity Blues.
He's getting Varsity Blues over here.
Yeah. So if Jim Harbaugh just eliminates that crap, then we'll be fine. So yeah. So it was just basically an upgrade. I had to upgrade a position. He had an upgrade. It was an easy swap.
Oh, that's funny. All right. Well, good job, Scott. And just like Scott mentioned, here's another one of those 1-for-1 deals that he loves so much. We got Twin Sanity and Bachelot. They made a trade, Chase Brown for Drake May, straight up. This is in the high 9 league. So this is a redraft.
Yeah, I think Batuglock obviously needed a quarterback. It came down to, Twinsanity had enough quarterbacks. I think it's pretty even, especially if you needed to fill that super flex spot. Like I said, I hate giving quarterbacks away. I really want, I think he probably could have squeezed them for somebody maybe a little bit better than Chase Brown, but I'm not gonna fight it because Chase Brown's actually a pretty good player. He's got the whole backfield to himself. So I'm just gonna say it's an even trade. What do you think, Sean?
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that one. It's for being that it's a redraft, and Drake May, even though he's showing us a lot right now, he's still not on a good team, and I wouldn't say that you can anticipate consistent production from him. That's always going to be so much better than what Chase Brown's going to bring you. So, I think it's a pretty even swap. I bet if you look at the points at the end of the season from now to when the trade ends, they're probably within about 10 to 15 points of each other when it all plays out.
Got you. Hurry up, JoJo. Get in here for 20 minutes. When your kids come home, you can log off.
So I sent you the link in Discord. It's in your Discord. At least I think I did. I'm going to go. I should have done that already. I would do it now, but now I'm screen sharing.
I miss JoJo being on here. I haven't been on a pod with JoJo in a while.
Right. I think I can maybe do it on my.
All right. He's coming in. I knew he would. He's a sick.
All right. So this trade, we got Mr. Ben doing this. Another trade from him and Adjuan. Another straight up 1-for-1 or 2. We got Josh Jacobs for Geno Smith.
Okay. Probably another situation where guy needs a quarterback, lost one. Where and Mr. Ben, has enough quarterbacks. So another trade I think is pretty even. I know Geno's kind of tailed off a little bit from his hot start, and Jacobs is starting to ramp up a little bit. So I'm just going to say I like these trades. I think it's pretty even. I think it helps both teams. So that's the way I look at it.
Yeah, I'm with you too, man. I'm with you too. I'm going to pull up this next trade. I'm going to mention it real quick. And then I'm going to pull the screen down so I can send JoJo the link right quick because I need my Discord to do it.
Okay.
But this is a White Knight 1988. He is making a trade with our buddy D Payne 19. He gets Mark Andrews, Jerry Jeudy, Brock Purdy in exchange for Dak Prescott, Chris Godwin, Jake Ferguson, and Wan'Dale Robinson. And obviously, this is a dynasty league. So make sure you keep that in mind while you're thinking about this.
Okay.
But go ahead and break that down real quick while I pull this screen down and go send JoJo this link.
Yeah. So I'm looking at this, and I actually like. I do like. I like the White Knight side just a little bit. I like Brock Purdy over Dak Prescott. Jerry Jeudy looks like he's kind of coming into his own, especially with Amari Cooper being gone. It's looking like he's stepping into that number one role in Cleveland, and Mark Andrews is starting to emerge in that offense where he was on a milk carton for the first half of the year. I'm not saying I hate the pieces that D Payne got, but I don't like the downgrade from Dak or from Purdy to Dak. Chris Godwin, I guess, is a good piece, but Ferguson. He should be good going forward when he comes back from the injury and stuff. And then you got Wan'Dale Robinson I'm not really a big fan of. So, I mean, it's not awful, but I'd still rather the big pieces that I really like that are the Purdy and the Andrews. So I like those two pieces. What up, JoJo?
What's up, dude?
Nothing, man.
What's
I haven't been on a
happening?
pod with you in a while, man.
I know it's just been a chopping block. Really was Sean when Connor was been out. So now that Connor's back, I'm just being a viewer.
Yeah. So to give you guys all a heads up, it's JoJo. He helps me out with the website in the tool section. When you go to the DFS stuff and the prop betting, we're killing it this year. And definitely get on there and give our read a look every week because you guys are losing money because we're winning every week. So
I would also just say throw up some feedback, guys. Especially on the tool section. If there's anything else that you guys want, we're more than happy to consider it and throw it out there. I mean, we're only going to get better if we get the feedback from our users and our gamers. So if you're liking it, let us know that you're loving it. Just a little bit every now and then helps out, guys. Trust me. And we just want to make sure that you guys are liking it and winning at the end of the day too. So
right. And it's not like, and I just want to let you know, if you guys haven't been there yet, it's not like JoJo puts stuff on there and just says, hey, play this guy. He actually, writes some detailed information for you guys. So he's not just throwing plays out there off the top of his head. He's actually digging deep and giving you his analysis on why you should play these players or why you should make these prop bets. So he takes some time into it. I love his writing, and along with my DFS stuff, we win money. So please get in there because and like I said, it's DFS. You can play for $1. I mean, they have dollar games, so it's not going to break the bank. Try us out. Like I said, just even if you're only playing a couple bucks a week, $5, $10 a week, and if you start winning, then you can say, hey, these guys know what they're talking about. Good information, and then you can step it up. So please give us a look there on the ballsvillegame.com in the tools section. What up, Jimbo? Jimbo sniping the pod. What's up, Jimbo?
What's up, dude?
All right.
Years.
What do you think about this trade here, Sean? I broke my part down.
I mean, pretty much everything you just said. I feel the same way. The only piece that I really like that D-Payne got is Godwin, and he is older, coming off injury. Dak is in the same boat, but I like Godwin more than I like Dak. And Ferguson is literally, even after injury, he's relying on what happens with Dak. So it's kind of like you're basically tied to one situation with two pieces there. So Wandell is a decent piece, but he's not anything special unless New York really turns their offense around. So I think the Mark Andrews, Brock Purdy, Jerry Jeudy side all day.
JoJo, did you look at this trade at all? What do you think?
Well, the only thing that sticks out for this is just that, especially if White Knight is contending, it hurts just to see what the prognosis of Brock Purdy's outlook's going to be. Obviously, D-Payne is just kind of acquiring talent for next year. So yeah, like you guys just kind of broke down, but I just think that Purdy was probably looking good 20 hours ago, like it says 20 hours ago with the trade. So yeah, that's about it.
All right, next.
All right, next trade on the block. Another 1-for-1. This is White Trash with Cash trading with TD Exorm. We got Tua Tagovailoa traded straight up for Najee Harris.
Yeah,
I like the username though.
Yeah,
right.
I'll give him props for that, but
well, he's the one that got Tua also. So
yeah, so I mean
he's a double win.
Yeah, he's a double win because Najee Harris is basically in a timeshare now. In my opinion, Warren's the better back. He's just been hurt all year, so Najee's been getting a lot of that volume. You can see last night that they did run Warren a lot more, and then Tua, I just think I don't think the Dolphins are gonna be like they were in 2023 earlier in the year, but I think they're gonna be better going the rest of the year, especially if Tyreek can get a little healthier. I think that offense will start ascending. What do you think, Sean?
No, I'm with you 100%. I mean, I got some shares of Tyreek Hill, so I'm hoping that he turns it around for the second half of the season when we really want, the best production we can get. So I'm more on that Tua side for sure. And then especially after Thursday's game, it proved that Najee is not the guy for them. They're all about getting Warren the ball, even on the goal line, it feels like. So I definitely lean that Tua side for sure. And, not to say that, this trade happened probably long before this game did. So I doubt that he had that, in his mind at the time, but it does hurt when you have something like this happen and then you watch a game like that.
Got you. What about you, JoJo?
No, you guys covered it. I mean, I was a huge fan of Warren preseason, and the usage he's been getting in the last couple of weeks, especially this past game we saw last night, was the usage I'd expect if he was entirely healthy from the get-go. But didn't work out that way. But hey, maybe I make a best ball run to end the season with Warren if he continues getting that kind of burn and getting anywhere between 12 and 15, 16 points a week if he gets that kind of usage. So we'll see.
Got you. All right, let's go to the next one. We got a couple bangers coming up next, and they got JoJo's name on them.
This one's JoJo here in the mid-8 league.
We're gonna let him break out a couple of these. So we'll give us the breakdown on this one.
Yeah, tell us all about your trade with C-Bomb of all people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So two Ballsville gamer, I guess managers or I guess behind the scenes people here. So.
Content
my thought process is just that I was buying a week of Brock Bowers and Jacoby Myers getting anywhere between 50 and 60% of the target share in Las Vegas. Granted, Luke Getsy got fired, new staff, but I still think Jacoby's going to get involved. And his schedule, as long as I'm contending in the playoffs, which I am in the leagues that I acquired him in, he's got a very, very favorable schedule from weeks 14 through 17. So I like those. He plays, I guess he goes Atlanta, Jacksonville, New Orleans, and I forget the other fourth one I'm missing here. But those ones I like the plus matchups. And if he's getting anywhere between 8 and 11 targets, sign me up. And with a decreasing, uncertain future of Trevor Lawrence after the bye, I don't want Brian Thomas. So that's just kind of where I'm at.
No, I look at it the same way. I mean, both these players play on teams that suck at football. But I agree with JoJo. I mean, Brian Thomas, to me, until Trevor Lawrence is healthy again, is not a very good asset to have right now. The Raiders, basically, they have no running game, and it's basically just Myers and Bowers the rest of the way. So they'll be behind in games. They don't run the ball, so they're just going to be passing. So I have actually tried to get Jacoby Myers off of JoJo a few times in some other leagues, and he won't bite. So I can't get him. So yeah, I definitely like the Myers side.
You know what both these teams, the Jaguars and Raiders, have in common? They both
suck.
have thought Gardner Minshew was their savior at one point in time.
Wait, Minshew was not ever our savior. He's never been a savior. Which goes back to the Michael Pittman thing you guys brought up on the Tuesday show. Again, like I think I put in the comments because I try when I rewatch. Please, guys, put in comments on the show on the episodes.
Yeah.
I put in the comments too, just saying like,
even if you just write comment.
Please, exactly. It helps the algorithm. I commented. Anyway, no, it's just Minshew was really just like a system quarterback where they manufactured touches for Michael Pittman on the close line of scrimmage. So that's why there was a lot of plus value and I guess the name value behind him going into this season. And I think the offensive structure has changed in Indy. So it was more Minshew and Steichen generating manufactured touches in that one. That's just me looking at the context there, but I could be wrong, but that's just my take. And that's why probably Pittman's taking a step back.
Yeah, I love Josh Downs. All right, let's go to the next one. Got another banger right here. Here you go,
Another JoJo trade. This is another.
Shoot, I forgot about this one. Okay, with TC show. Shout out to TC
you
show.
got a lot of backlash on this trade in that league too.
Was? I thought it was the Mooney trade that just went down the other day.
That one too, but this one, I think some people were going like, "What?"
And Sean, remember on one of my last chopping block episodes, didn't I say like I haven't made like one trade, and then here comes the flurry of trades coming in at the end of the season. Anyway, TC show. By the way, shout out to TC show, man. The guy's killing it this year. He's in the top 4 in a bunch of leagues, so want to give him a shout out. So here, my thought process was JMO. Because this was also completed, I think, after his break. No, it wasn't this past week. It was going into this week. I'm sorry. I'm just really buying and solidifying some handcuffs here for the stretch run. That's what I've been I like to get my roster prepared and optimized for the playoff run. Thus, the handcuff pickup in Corum over Chandler because he got overtaken by Akers. And then it's a kind of a bet on Adunze and ascending from Chicago versus JMO being so hit or miss because those 20-plus point weeks come with a lot of 5 and less. I kind of like Rome Odunze's floor the rest of the way of being anywhere between 8 and 12, maybe even getting 15 or more. But I think they're prioritizing Odunze moving forward. That's just where I was at.
Yeah, I mean, I like JMO, but I mean, I could see like Rome for JMO. I mean, I probably got a slight bump with JMO the rest of the way, but like I do like Corum a little bit more than Chandler. I think Chandler he's
phased out. And then just contingent upside, right? Like if Kyron goes down, like this is a smash. Like 100% smash.
Yeah, and
do you
actually
have Kyron on that team?
I don't. No. I was trying to acquire Kyron, knowing the guy who has him is in playoff contention. He won't get rid of him. So it was kind of also a play to be like, I'm making this A move to make B move right after.
Yeah.
We were in cahoots, but he's just reneged off the Kyron move.
No, Kyron and Corum's been getting some more runs. So I mean, I like it. Especially if Corum can get like 5 to 6 carries and maybe fall in the end zone, maybe, I don't know, maybe once or twice the rest of the year. And like you said, if Williams goes down, Corm's next man up. It's a smash spot. I mean, he's automatically at that point a top 12 RB the rest of the way. I mean, in that offense. So yeah, I like your sides very slightly, but I like it slightly. What about you, Sean?
I'm kind of the other way, to be honest. I'm leaning towards the JMO side. The only reason I say that is because if you're trying to make a run right now, you don't want to have to play any of those other guys. You want, I want a piece that I'm going to want to play, and JMO's a piece that I'm going to be comfortable playing. So, I know you said that his weeks are hit or miss, but Detroit, I think, is looking pretty, moving the rest of the way through the season. So I would want the piece that I'm comfortable starting. And, unless you had so much depth on your starting roster that you didn't have to worry about playing Corum or Odunze, and they're just there in case you get the opportunity, like a DJ Moore goes down or a Kyron goes down, then they become a good play for you. But I don't think I would have thrown away a guy like JMO that I would be comfortable to play just to have those types of players on my bench.
Totally fair take. That's definitely the risk, but hey, every trade there's some risk to it, and I'm kind of just going for more of the upside off the other piece, where if that contingent upside's there, then it doesn't matter how big James is.
Offensive coordinator change in Chicago could help you.
Well, I mean, he got what did he have this past week? Odunze, he had I think he had like 7 or 8 targets. I think I'm looking at his schedule. I know Detroit, look, their receiver schedule looks a little rough, but overall, I think they're set up pretty nicely. Yeah, he had 10 targets, Odunze. I'll take 10 targets as if that's kind of like what he can be getting on a normal basis moving forward. Minnesota, Detroit, Minnesota again, Detroit again, Seattle. Those are all plus matchups for Chicago wide receivers. I looked at that with the change. Usually gives a jolt in the offense. So it's a gamble, but yeah.
Do you think you're going to be in a position where you're going to want to start Rome at some point?
I mean, he's going to be a flex option, yeah. And same with JMO. I have enough receivers.
They were both going to be flex options.
Yeah.
Just going forward. So, all right, let's move on. We got a trade here that caused a huge uproar in that league. So Twinsanity.
Oh, Jesus, yeah, this one.
Yeah. So Twinsanity receives Calvin Ridley and Chase Brown, and he gives away the rich get richer. Zay, who's just smashing it in high stakes, receives Jamar Chase. So I mean, I think we're all kind of like dumbfounded on how this happened. But
I have a little bit to take here because I was in talks with Twinsanity for Jamar Chase up until that move.
What didn't get it done?
I'm looking at it right now. I'm going back right now. Hold on.
It had to be better. It had to be better than what this guy accepted.
He denied my last final offer before he went with that move was I offered him Drake London, Chase Brown, and Noah Brown. Noah Brown was just a throw-in. But Jamar Chase and Matt Stafford, I wanted a quarterback. I felt like I was giving him a plus because Drake London plus Chase Brown was, I think, already.
Well, no, you couldn't have Chase. You didn't have Chase Brown.
Yeah, because he had Chase Brown deal. So how could you have had? Did you trade Chase Brown to the?
What league is this in?
This
is in high 2.
Oh, that's high 1. I'm sorry, that was another one. I'm in high 1 right now. Give me a sec. High 1.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because everybody.
I guess he had him in both leagues, so I was only talking about high 1. I'm sorry, I thought this was in the same league. My bad. But he was giving away Jamar Chase in that one too. I think that was the CD Lamb one. Never mind. That's the right happened. He gave away Chase for CD Lamb and something else. I'm sorry, wrong league.
No, but this was just. I mean, it caused an uproar, and we didn't think there was any collusion or anything like that. I mean, I don't know. I don't like it. I mean, we don't really reverse trades unless there's like major collusion, but it's a bad trade. I mean, I think we can.
I will say that there's a path, in my opinion, about the Bengals that worries me as a Jamar Chase owner or a Chase Brown owner is they are kind of out of it, right? Like in some capacity, if they keep losing, they either drop another 1 or 2. Jamar Chase and T. Higgins have been kind of shafted by the Bengals organization. Who's to say that they have a nick and they sit for the fantasy playoffs because they're not guaranteed money, right? And we've seen big names do that in the past. So there is a path to Jamar Chase just like, I have a hurt quad. I'm sitting because he's looking for a new contract. He didn't get paid.
Well, this is their schedule moving forward. They have Pittsburgh next week, and then they have Dallas, Tennessee, Cleveland, Denver, and then Pittsburgh to finish out the season.
Pittsburgh's tough, man.
Yeah, I mean, but they lose to Pittsburgh, but I don't think they're losing to Dallas, Tennessee, or Cleveland. So I mean, they're still
Tennessee's a negative matchup for receivers.
So I don't think they'll be in a position where they'll be completely out of anything, especially with if Denver starts to get hurt and Pittsburgh does lose. Say they beat Pittsburgh, right, and then Pittsburgh loses to KC, Philly, Baltimore, like we just talked about. Since he's right there in the running for that last wild card spot, if they can win those 3 games and beat Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, let's move on from that trade and go to another trade, because I really need to hear this analysis from JoJo on this trade.
Okay,
wow.
This one.
Yeah.
I don't even know this one got accepted. You
probably wish it does. You probably wish it didn't now.
Yeah, this was probably the same exact scenario. Like, I was like, look, this guy, he's hurt already. I don't know if he's coming back. And then they both have a big blow up week come the week right after this deal was made. I was just kind of banking on a floor of targets here because, again, there are a couple spike weeks for both of those. And then there's a lot of down weeks. I mean, go ahead and count them. Like, I think it was week 1 for JMO, this past week for JMO, this past week for T, and there was a couple weeks earlier. Thielen's coming right back, and Jacoby's got a good target share. So it was just
this trade makes me want to throw up in my mouth.
Yeah, the only way Thielen's coming back, and he's going to get planted right on a Borden's milk carton because that's where he's going to be coming back. So yeah, I just, all you have to say, JoJo, is, hey man, my kid's got a hold of my phone. They push the step button, and this is what happens.
I think it's funny that other trade caused such an uproar, and then this trade, people are just like,
yeah.
That's true. Like this is way worse than I would agree that. I would agree with you guys. Yeah, this is a way worse trade than the Mooney trade that caused an uproar like 2 nights ago.
Yeah, let's hear. Well, we're gonna pass this trade, and let's try to. I want to. Yeah,
I'll take an L, but we'll see what happens. So maybe Adam Thielen, Jacoby Myers win me a ship. So we'll see what happens there.
That'd be hilarious.
All right, so
here's the other trade you talked about.
Yeah, this is the one. This is in high one. This is in high one.
He gave Jamar Chase for CeeDee Lamb and Travis Etienne.
Like, to me, that's just like, I don't know. I don't get it. In my opinion.
Well, this is definitely.
By the way, my kids just got home. Hold on one sec, guys. I gotta be right back.
No problem, brother. You can jump out if you need to.
I mean, this one's better though, Sean. Right?
I don't know. I don't think so.
You don't
think he got Calvin Ridley, who's still getting targets, and he got Chase Brown, who's much better than Etienne.
Dude, you can't tell me that Lamb's not better. I mean, even with Cooper Rush throwing you the ball, that's got to be better than Calvin Ridley.
I don't know. What's their last 3-week comparison point wise? I bet you.
Yeah, it's been probably pretty even or a little bit, more in. But I'm saying the rest of the way. I mean, CeeDee Lamb's going to have better days. But they don't have anybody.
He's going to have good enough days to keep up with Chase Brown to make that big of a gap fill. I mean, Chase Brown is going to destroy the rest of the season compared to what Etienne.
I guess it depends on Etienne. If Etienne can come back and take a little bit more of that workload from Tanks Bigsby, who's been banged up, just looks a little bit better. But I don't think it's like I wouldn't be in an uproar over this trade.
By the way, how does Doug Peterson still have a job?
I don't know. They should have left.
I cannot believe that he is still not fired yet. I'm like, I thought they were going to do it long before this.
Dude, they should have left him in Europe.
Right.
They should have just freaking.
They could pay his own way home.
Yeah, they should have just freaking left him there. And
right, you just have security stop him at the plane. Man, you're not coming on this plane.
Yeah. It just I don't know, but no, I don't think it's that bad. I still obviously I'm probably just gonna lean the Chase side, but I have concerns like JoJo said. What if the Bengals just freaking keep losing? Are these guys gonna just quit? I don't think.
I'll take that over the CeeDee Lamb with Cooper Rush and Travis Etienne on the Jaguars.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Chase would do it because he wants to get paid. So I think he's just gonna ball out the rest of the year.
100%. He's gonna ball out and he's gonna get paid by somebody, whether it's them or not.
Yeah. So all right, let's go to another one. Wow, this is
a big. Oh, this is Whopper.
All right, this is the. Man, I hate breaking down these trades, man. These are just how do you guys sit there and make these trades like this? It's just I don't get it.
Oh, I can tell you how it starts out as a 2 for 2 or a 1 for 1, and then eventually it's like, oh, well, I want this guy too. Well, okay, well, how about this guy then? Okay, well, how about this guy and this guy then? Okay, well, how about this guy, this guy, this guy? And then it eventually gets to this point.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jimbo. Nobody gets paid in Vegas. Or, I mean, nobody gets paid in Cincy, I should say. Yeah, nobody gets paid in Cincy.
Nobody gets paid in Vegas either.
Yeah.
I can promise you that.
All right, so this is between
This is,
Colin Black and Cash.
Yep. Go. You want to break it down?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, Colin receives Cooper Kupp, Burrow, Elijah Moore, and Brian Robinson, and he gives away a Chan, Hopkins, Geno, and Stafford. So he gets 2 quarterbacks. So Cash, I know Cash in that league has been devastated by quarterbacks. So he's like dying at quarterback. So I can see why I can see why he made this deal, and I don't think it's that bad because he basically downgraded from Burrow to get Stafford and Geno. So I see that. I think Kupp and Hopkins. I'd lean the Kupp side a little bit more. And
100%.
then he gets a Chan, which is I think a little bit of an upgrade over Robinson. So as much as I hate these deals and never think they're even, I actually think this deal helps both teams. What about you?
I definitely lean towards the Cash side of the fence. I mean, I like the Burrow and I like the Kupp piece, but Brian Robinson I think is a decent step behind Chan. Elijah Moore is basically, is what he is. Like if you went like say you could say like Kupp for Stafford and wash those two out, then you would get Chan and Geno for Burrow. You're basically getting Hopkins for Robinson at that point, and Elijah Moore to me is a wash. So I lean that way. I definitely like the Cash side because of the double quarterback aspect of it.
Yeah, I think
it's close. It's close.
Even though I think it's close, I guess I would lean a little bit on the Cash side just because I think he did a real good job. And I know in that league he's dying at quarterback. So it was basically he traded for his season because if he doesn't make the deal, he's done. You can't just go with just Burrow the rest of the year and no other quarterbacks in your super flex and this and that. So, I mean, it's a big boy trade. But like I said, I think he did it to save his season. So, but it's not like some crazy trade. So I like it.
Yeah. Yeah. Even though it's a lot of players, it's not like super lopsided.
Okay. All right. This one's Dino.
Yep. We got a smack down MJD and Joe Loco made a trade. We got Alec Pierce in a 2025 first for Christian McCaffrey in a 2025 third.
Okay. So, so basically it comes down to forget the Pierce in the third. I mean, I think I'd rather have a third than Pierce, right?
I mean, I think so too, to be honest. But if Pittman's not there next year, then Pierce might take over the number 2 role and have a solid, share in that offense.
And then
I think it's basically McCaffrey for a first, in my opinion. And I think if you're in contention mode, then you take McCaffrey and give up the first, sure.
So if you're in rebuild mode, then I mean, obviously a first is the right amount for McCaffrey. You're not going to get any more than just a first for McCaffrey, right?
Yeah, no, I think he probably wanted first in Alec Pierce, and then the guy was like, I need at least a third back, and that's how it kind of finalized. But okay. I mean, I'm okay to throw away a third if I'm going to get, Alec Pierce in the first, because in the third, you don't know what you're going to get. And at least with Alec Pierce, you know that he is liked enough in that offense that they're constantly giving him. And he's got that deep threat or that deep ball threat kind of aspect of that 50-50 ball type receiver. So, that's always like those, 2 catches could make a really good fantasy week.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, let's go to the next one.
This is Chiefs Life and JoJo again. So if JoJo makes it back or not, we got Garrett Wilson and Luke Schumacher going to Chiefs Life in exchange for Russell Wilson and Jacoby Myers going to JoJo. He has been buying his Myers.
I know he won't. And I like it. I like Jacoby Myers. Like I said, that offense is basically two players, Bowers and Myers. So, and then Russell Wilson's had a pretty good year so far. I mean, even in that game yesterday that they lost, he had 270 and a touch. I mean, he wasn't awful. He hasn't been awful. I mean, he doesn't run like he used to anymore. So, and Garrett Wilson, that team, I don't want nothing to do with the Jets anymore. I mean, I don't even think I really want Garrett Wilson anymore. I think it's just basically Breece Hall, and that's it. I don't want anybody else. So
I'm with you. I like this side a lot. I think JoJo killed it.
yeah, so I like getting a quarterback. Like I said, I always want to get a quarterback. If I can get a quarterback in deal and not have to give up a quarterback, I'm doing that all day long. Unless you're freaking getting like Daniel Jones or something like.
Who's to say Jacoby Myers doesn't outscore Garrett Wilson?
Yeah, no, true,
you know?
true. So no, I think JoJo killed it also in this deal. And Chiefs Life's, I like Chiefs Life. He's a pretty smart dude. I'm wondering why he would make this deal, but
yeah, he might just assume that Garrett Wilson's going to show something more and have that kind of that's his guy type of mentality about it. Like everybody has their guy they think is going to come on,
Yeah. Okay. So this is a trade that actually happened Tuesday when we were on air.
Oh, nice.
Mr. Ben, if you remember, Sean, Mr. Ben was in the chat, and then Sean and then Connor was on his phone, and he's like, "Oh, just got a deal done." So this was the deal, and Connor gave away Alvin Kamara and Shakir, and got back in return Bucky Irving and Josh Jacobs. And did he say he had bye week? Was it a bye week issue? Is that why he made this trade? Do you remember?
Yeah, I think he was dying at running back is what it was. I think he had no running back at all this week, and he needed help because Kamara's on a bye. So I think that's why he ended up making this move. And then he ended up I think he got a decent enough deal. We gave him a little mess about it over initially, but that's just because we like to rib him. I don't think it's that bad of a deal for him, to get that. I think Shakir, even though he had over 10 targets this week, we were missing a couple of other key players in our offensive, game plan. So I don't think Shakir will always be that big of a piece in the game plan, even though I like him a lot. I think you can wash him and Bucky, and then I think Jacobs and Kamara are for the rest of the season going to be pretty equal.
Right. All right, you guys in the chat, we got one more trade to go through after this, and we're done with the trade. So if you guys got any start-sit questions, please throw them in the chat, because after that we're going to be out. So we want to try to get to as many start-sits as we can. We got some time.
So this is our last trade with JoJo.
Trade that I was hoping JoJo would be on to break down, because he got a little bit of backlash in this one too, which I don't really know why, but so go ahead, Sean.
So I mean, he gets Trey Benson, A.D. Mitchell, and Jalen Wright in exchange for Kendrick Bourne and Darnell Mooney. So I could see why he would get some backlash, because literally the only player that you're going to want to start with any confidence out of the entire bunch is Darnell Mooney. And, he's somebody that you could confidently start in your flex the way that he's been involved in that offense. I think he got swayed slightly by the Trey Benson having a good game last week and getting more share of the offense. But that was my opinion because of game script based on the way the game had been playing out. They were ahead and they were running the ball like crazy, and they didn't need to use Connor to do it. So they were okay to just give him a rest. I don't think that's going to be consistent. So I just don't see the benefit for him making this trade in a redraft. Because, again, none of those players I'm going to be confident starting in my last flex role. So I gave away a guy that I'd be confident starting, and I didn't get one back.
Right. Now, I know JoJo was on earlier. He explained what he likes to do when it gets closer to the playoff run. He likes to build his depth with some guys that could potentially be one injury away from getting in his lineup.
So you think he's got Connor and he's got Achane?
Well, even if he doesn't, he's probably trying to get some backups, which I'm not I understand Benson because he has one injury away and Connor's been known to get banged up. I really like the A.D. Mitchell. I think he's ascending in that offense, especially if A-Rich can get him the ball. I really like him in Dynasty too. And then Jalen Wright, I mean, they're not even giving the ball to Mostert, so they're not going to be. Why would they give it to Wright? I mean, it's all Achane, and that's it. So Kendrick Bourne came back. He's okay, but Mooney is just such a good floor guy every week. I mean, you can count on Mooney. He leads the league in snap percentages. He's up there in targets. I mean, he's about as safe as a WR2 as you can get. So I don't like giving that away. I want to keep that. And I'm not going to bet on hoping guys get hurt down the road. I mean, you have a legitimate weapon and piece that, like I said, you can put in your WR2 spot every week. And he's, like I said, he's out. He leads the league in snap shares. He's up there in targets. And Kirk Cousins believes in him and trusts him. So,
and he's good. He's a good receiver.
He just had to get out. He just had to get out of Chicago, and I'm telling you, Chicago is
like place. So many players.
Dude, Chicago's the place where receivers go to die. They go to die there. I mean, Keenan Allen is dying. DJ Moore is dying. So Rome
Robinson died.
Yeah, Rome Odunze. Good luck. I wish you well. So it just, so. I mean, there was a little uproar in the league about that. People were like, why do you keep going after backups and blah, 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 blah. So I understand why there's an uproar. But so JoJo's I think he's 2 for 2 today in trades.
Nice. So I'm going to go look through our sit flex here.
Yeah, go sit. And let's see. Start sit D-Hop this week. Okay, so Jimbo says, start sit D-Hop this week. I think Casey runs the ball this week and rather play wide receiver that must pass to win the week. Okay, so let's look at the matchup tool on the ballsvillegame.com. That's where I go for all my fantasy needs and all my lineup decisions. And yeah, they're playing a team that sucks at football, and that's the Carolina Panthers. And yeah, it's set up to be a running game, but I can't sit D-Hop. It's the number 110 on the matchup tool. Number 10 on the matchup tool. I'm firing up all my Chiefs. Quarterbacks number 1, running backs number 1, receivers number 10, tight ends number 2. Their implied team totals 26.5. That's almost 4 touchdowns. I could see Kelsey getting in the box. I can see Hunt getting in the box because I forgot to mention that earlier. Pacheco is not playing this weekend, so it's going to be another week of Kareem Hunt. I could see him get in the box, and I could see Pat Mahomes throw for 3 touchdowns, and I could see D-Hop getting in the box. So I'm firing up all my Chiefs. What about you, Sean?
Yeah, I mean, I did not know that Pacheco is not playing this weekend until you just said that. Yes. That is news to me.
Yeah.
Okay, so
one more week of Kareem Hunt.
That changes one of my start sit questions I had for you.
Oh.
I was going to ask you him or Ramondre Stevenson, who would you play? But obviously, we know the answer to that question now.
Yes. So anybody else start
go ahead.
sits? No, I was just going to say, anybody else have any start sits? Put them in.
I got one for you here that C-Bomb had asked about earlier today. He's got Pollard or Debo with Purdy out now. What do you do? What do you do, Hotshot?
Okay, so that does change because all this was all my matchup tool was obviously I do my matchup tool on Thursday. I just found out about this news today. So I'm going to go to my matchup tool. I still got it. Debo's number 18. That's probably going to go up because of the quarterback news. Tennessee is at Houston. They are basically getting 8.5 points, so they're underdogs. They're only projected to score 16.5 points, and the matchup tool says it's a number 23 matchup. But with this Purdy news, I just don't trust any of the offensive weapons except for McCaffrey. He'll still get his, especially in the running game. So I'm just gonna have to go with Pollard and tighten my butt cheeks.
Yeah, I think so too, and I also believe that Tajay's out, right? I don't know if you said that.
Tajay's out too. So yeah, it makes Pollard a better play.
Even though it's a bad matchup, you got to play the guy who's going to be the bell cow.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
So I don't know. Was there anything else in there? Everyone's pretty quiet on the start sit front.
there's some other ones in here, but they included some of the Thursday guys. So obviously we can't talk about any of that because that is now over. Like, who would you put in Tillman over Reed? Like, obviously you're gonna pick Reed now, right? Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, there's nothing else in there. I'm trying to think of any good ones that I could throw at you real quick. What about Stevenson or Pollard? Stevenson versus Miami, Pollard versus gosh, why am I blanking on Pollard's opponent all of a sudden?
Pollard's playing at Houston. At Houston. At Houston.
I think I leaned Andre personally.
Okay. So yeah, New England's at Miami, number 13 matchup. And then, like I said, Pollard's got a bad matchup, number 23. I mean, I really like Houston's defense. I mean, Pollard should catch passes out of the backfield. But Ramondre's got a pretty decent matchup. Like I said, number 13 at Miami, on the road. I don't know. I guess with the Spears news, I guess I would just go Pollard at that point. I just think he's just going to get, all the volume. Even though I don't mind the Stevenson, I'll just go with Pollard. All right, we got another one from Trevor Langer off. He says, first we got Zubikis. Pop Douglas or Rashad Bateman? Wow, these are some really good ones. Really terrible ones. So we got Pop Douglas. He's number 24 on the matchup tool at Miami. Not looking good. Rashid Bateman, Baltimore at the Chargers. Number 11 matchup. Let's fire up Bateman. He always seems like he gets like a 50-yard pass or something like that. What about you, Sean?
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that one. I think that Bateman has just proven that they're going to make it a point to get some targets his way no matter what. So I'm going to go with that guy at that point just because, I don't know what – Miami's kind of in this like weird little like not sure realm with them. Like their defense has been off and on all year. So if they have an on game, then I don't want to be the recipient of that by playing Douglas. I'd rather just go with Bateman. I think the floor is higher with Bateman.
Yeah. No, Trevor writes in chat. Here's another gross one. Wan'Dale Robinson or Luke Schoonmaker in the flex. Well, now we do not have Daniel Jones, ex North Carolina great, as quarterback. So we will go over to the New York Giants. They play at home against Tampa. They're projected to score 18 points. And but
was Daniel Jones North Carolina or Duke?
Oh, you know what? It was Duke.
Yeah, I thought he was Duke, right?
Duke, right? I'm sorry. I knew it was the same. It was the same. Same state. Same state. That was Drake May that was probably thinking about. But the Giants are actually the number 3 matchup. But with the quarterback, I don't know. With the quarterback change, I mean, is it really a downgrade from Tommy DeVito? I mean, he played pretty good.
Yeah, I think I got to take Wan'Dale because the same exact reason I'm going to take Bateman is that they have a game plan where they want to incorporate those guys in their game plan. And I don't think Schoonmaker is more than just a fill-in. I don't know if they're going to make sure to get him the ball, whereas Wan'Dale, they're going to make sure to throw a few targets his way. So
to be honest with you, I think I trust Tommy DeVito over Cooper Rush going.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So
plus
yeah,
this week, it's kind of all those changes. You know how they come out hot after like a week of changes, right? Like they might get that Giants love tonight.
I worry a little bit with Tampa Bay coming off the bye and the Jets just like tanking it.
But their defense sucks. Tampa Bay's defense is horrible. So like, I mean, if you're going to carve up any defense.
Like I agree. The matchup tool says a number 3 matchup. So, I mean, it's telling you that Tampa's defense sucks. So it's just, I wouldn't expect him to get in the end zone, but I could see him getting, 4 or 5 targets, maybe catching 3-4 balls for 50, 60 yards, something like that. So it's gross, but I'll just go with Wan'Dale at that point. So
I got one for you real quick that we talked about a little bit earlier, but I think it's a good one to talk about live. Dallas Goedert or Jonnu Smith?
Oh, yeah, you did mention that. So I like Dallas Goedert because of now that Devontae Smith is out. It seemed like anytime Smith or Brown are out, It's not Jahan Dotson, it's Dallas Goedert. So the matchup tools telling me, let's see, Philly. The matchup tool is number 5 for the tight end. 26-point team total, 49 over under. We go to Miami, which is at home against New England, and Jonnu Smith's the number 9 matchup. So they're both really good matchups. But I like I said before, I'm going with Dallas Goedert going forward. As long as one of those receivers are out, the targets are going to go to Dallas Goedert, not Jahan Dotson. Okay. All right. Alex has a question. He says, do you think Mike Evans puts up the league winning streak that he's projected so far? I've seen Mike Evans moving up a lot. So, Mike Evans, it's a number 15 on the matchup tool, but as far as going forward, I mean, everybody knows my take on Mike Evans. He's a big burly man with a deep voice and a monster and a future first ballot Hall of Famer. And the guy's got nuts. He plays hurt as much as he can. So yeah, I would never think that Mike Evans would ever quit. So going forward, I want Mike Evans in all my lineups going forward. What about you, Sean?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at his schedule right now, and this is his remaining calendar right here. So he's got the Giants, Panthers, Raiders, Chargers, Cowboys, Panthers, Saints.
Oh my God. Fire up Mike Evans. Actually, and you know what? Fire up Kate Otten and fire up Baker Mayfield. Because yeah, they're still in the playoff hunt. So I mean, yeah, it's going to be an aerial assault the rest of the way. I got one for you, Sean. Same team. Bucky Irving or Rashad White?
I hate you. I gotta go with Bucky. I gotta go with Buggy because I've been hating on Rashad White for so long. If I were to change I can't even say the man's name right. So how can I pick him? I'm picking Bucky.
Bucky. You know what's disgusting? They came out today and asked Todd Bowles about the running game, and he comes out and says, we need to give Sean Tucker more carries.
I think him and Sean Payton just get together and figure out ways to try to fuck with the media and fantasy players. They're running back.
It's so disgusting. But yeah, I agree, man. Fire up Bucky Irving the rest of the way. He's the better back. I don't care what Trevor says.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, does anybody really care what Trevor says other than his wife, you know?
I don't know, Trevor. So, all right. Well, that wraps it up for this week, guys. Another episode of the Ballsville podcast. Please like and subscribe to our podcast. Please go to theballsvillegame.com for all your fantasy needs. Sean will be back on Monday with the Guillotine podcast that I'm no longer a part of, which I'm very upset about, but maybe he'll talk a little bit about the triathlon league that I'm still involved in. And we got some big news coming forward. Sean and I have been bumping heads today, trying to get that triathlon league all ironed out. We have a pretty good map written out on how we think the league should be ran. So what we're going to do in the future is we're going to hopefully put out a questionnaire to you guys that are in the triathlon league. Let us know what you think about the triathlon league, what your likes, what your dislikes, what you want us to improve, what you would want us to disapprove. And we're going to put it all together and jumble it all together and come out with a roadmap for you guys to look at. And I know that you guys are going to be super pumped like we are about our new triathlon league next year, which consists of 3 different leagues all wrapped up in one. We have the redraft, we have the guillotine, we have the best ball. Everyone's going to love this. It's going to be awesome. So please tune in for future episodes. So for my co-host, Sean Sklem, AFC #1 team Buffalo Bills and #1 team Detroit Lions in the NFC for a future clash in the Super Bowl, I am Scott Lucersdale, and we are out.
That's a wrap.